effective out to about 200 plus yards. You're not going to hit necessarily what you're aiming at, but you're going to be putting a lot of dangerous lead into an area on the field. That's really the tactic here. For these troops, the idea is much more that these are troops that are generally a little bit more marksmen, a little bit better trained. Again, they're using the same muskets, so they're not super accurate, but accurate enough that, again, you can keep the force on the other side of the field a little bit distanced from you. And basically, then it's a matter of trying to outmaneuver them. So, bloodhounds. Again, they are not loaded. Bloodhounds with elevated muskets. Independent fire by file partner. That's firing. You'll notice, so the object here for British light infantry is what's called independent firing by file partners, where each of the two soldiers supports each other. The front one would fire his musket, and then while he's reloading, the rear one would cover him. As soon as the front one is loaded, then the rear one fires. And then back and forth like that. That's called what was called in the period mutual defense and confidence. Each of the men in the files supported each other. So always one of them was loaded and could defend them, while the other one was unloaded and reloaded. And while they're doing it, rather than a command like the battalion troops got where they all shoot together, they're generally aiming in the general right direction. Here, these soldiers are actually taking picket aim at the other side. Again, very good chance they may not hit what they're shooting at, but if you're on the other side, it's pretty uncomfortable to know that there is lead coming in your general direction. The lead balls these shoot are a little under 75 caliber, so 3/4 of an inch of lead flying at you. Again, with a lethal range out to well over 200 yards. Bloodhound, ceasefire. Continue to prime and load. And again, one of the other things about this sort of flexibility is you can also use terrain more. So if we were shooting behind this stone wall, it would allow the soldiers to get behind the stone wall, use that for cover in wooded trees. Again, this was tactics. Light infantry tactics were specifically developed for combat in North America. For whatever reason, the British were kind of ahead of the Americans for quite a bit of the war, despite the stereotype of Americans mostly being firing from behind walls and trees. It actually was the British that really most effectively used that tactic. Even the battalion troops over here very quickly adopted themselves to be much more loose order, much more quick moving and responsive on the battlefield. So the mythology of British troops being very inflexible and rigid is actually not true for the large majority of the war. After, of course, some very painful lessons that were learned at Bunker Hill, at Battle Road in Lexington and Concord, where the British troops really got their butts handed to them, basically. After that, they were like, nope, we have to totally rewrite or revision how we're doing combat. Anyone have any questions?